And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Life from the Inside Out with Kris. I'm your host, Dan, and it's been a while since Serge and I have gotten together, but we are here today and ready to bring some more episodes. Serge, it's good to be with you.
Same here. We could almost call this life after life. But yeah,
We've resurrected the show, I guess. It's been on the back burner for a while.
it's okay. We all get busy with things. So
Yeah, I can understand that, and but I'm excited to see what Kris has to say. I know we were doing some short form videos right before we kind of dropped off, and before that, some longer discussions. And figure we'll just let him run with it, see where we go.
yeah, that sounds like a good idea. It's open-ended at this point, so anything can happen.
I like it.
Now we trust that you are comfortable,
Yes, thank you, Kris.
indeed, and we thank you for your consideration.
Thanks as well.
And in many ways, even though it appears that there has been a time lapse between the last episode and this one, in reality, time does not flow in that kind of a linear fashion. And even your quantum physicists and scientists are discovering that the so-called linearity or the linear flow of time may be completely wrong. The main point being that your present moment, which is so very important, your present moment is the jumping off point for variable probable developments based upon your own interests, your own intentions, and desires. Again, perhaps not the best example, but say you get a call from a friend and you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, but your friend suggests the possibility of either going out to a movie or going out for dinner. So now you have three options. You could stay and do what you were doing. You could go out to dinner, or you could go out to a movie. Which one do you choose? And does the choosing invalidate the other two? Or is it possible that the other two that were not activated in your temporal situation actually were also manufactured or manifested in such a way that they also exist, but you're not aware of them because your awareness is on the one you have chosen? And in terms of the multidimensionality of the universe in its own ways, all of these probable situations exist. And these may even be creating what you refer to as your past to align with the choice you have just made and your present moment that also aligns with the choice that you just made. So, in other words, you, by your choices, are reorganizing the flow of your existence on a constant basis. And just pondering what possible activities could have occurred had you chosen differently can also bring some subtle but interesting influences into your present moment. Now, of course, this is not sci-fi. It is not created by Hollywood, so you won't consciously appear in all versions as such. However, at a subconscious level, you do participate even in the ones you did not consciously chose. Those particular different or divergent choices still bear an influence into your existence. And again, pondering or mulling over, thinking about the choices you did not act upon can bring subtle influences, perhaps joyous moments that were not necessarily expected. So your own psychological base of knowledge and your personality also reflect even the choices you did not make consciously, but are still stacked into your subconscious and act as a subtler influence, shoring up your personality. And again, the more you may ponder upon these things, triggering the imagination also triggers abilities that you may not necessarily have been developing. It aggrandizes or shores up your knowledge. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, Chris. And how does value fulfillment play a role in this? Is some of these paths consciously more fulfilling than others?
Hmm. Now, it isn't necessarily that value fulfillment itself acts as a separate body or entity. It is part of your own psychological makeup. It is part of your desiring nature. And the choices that you end up making are based upon your own subconscious ability to, we will just loosely use the term predicate what some of the potential outcomes of choices may bring to you. Thus, that pulls you in a particular direction. And it may even have an influence in the so-called past in such a manner as helping to heal some situation that was not resolved. That also adds to the construct of your personality because the personality is a full psychological construct. And the importance of understanding that is that you create your personality as you create your reality. Your personality is not something that was imposed upon you. You assembled it. Perhaps it is not the best choice, but you brought it together, all the traits and characteristics that make up your personality. You chose from your familial environment, perhaps ancestral lines, perhaps situations you encountered in other so-called lives, and we won't stop at just saying past lives because that is so passé. But your databank of information that makes up your personality traits and characteristics is far vaster than anyone has been able to estimate because you are tapping into the multidimensionality of existence. So you pool together certain aspects that align with some of the values you are developing and some of the values that are overall or having an overarching principle in your existence. So you have potentials, you have abilities, you have skills, you have knowledge, you have intelligence that sometimes goes completely unnoticed because you wear psychological and psychic blinders that block out the greater nature of your being and your intelligence. And it is not an slight, it is part of the development that you have chosen for this particular lifetime. But you don't have to stay there. Once you become aware of your grander nature, you can start exploring it. You can start diving into those pools of consciousness that are available to you and refreshing the whole outlook of life. Someone may one morning wake up feeling rather gloomy, doomish, like perhaps not understanding why they are in that mood. And yet, a quick moment of reflection may help you understand that you may indeed be struggling with understanding a greater aspect of your existence, but not necessarily been allowed to before. And you may be trying to push boundaries of intelligence and knowledge and inspiration. A few moments of reflection, and of course, you are aware of tapping, but not necessarily the standard EFT tapping, but just tapping on your cheekbones or tapping on your sternum for perhaps 20, 30 seconds is enough to shift your mindset, sending all these feel-good hormones to help you change your perception and see that you can have a different day because you are not doomed to have a gloomy day simply because you woke up in that mood. Just a small little example of what is possible for you. Does that also make sense?
Yeah, yeah, I'm following.
So the idea that it is possible for the human being to alter most of their thinking pattern, even ones that have been held onto thinking patterns slash belief patterns that you may have been holding onto for decades and that no longer serve you, can be altered in such a way as to literally show you that you are in control of your life, that you are not fated, as some would say, to suffer and carry burdens forever. You can unload those burdens by neutralizing them. Please feel free to continue.
Well, it is interesting that you mentioned the tapping. I was experimenting with that lately, and I found out one of the things I notice is a physiologic or body response to the tapping, almost looking for the right word, almost separate separate from the phrases. So it seemed like the tapping itself, the motion and the points was activating something even beyond what the phrases, or even if I was saying the phrases or not, I was getting a similar response, which was a big yawn, which is telling me that the kind of
Yes,
resting and digesting system was activating just through the tapping itself. So it was a really interesting observation.
indeed. The wording itself is very helpful because it helps to concentrate, to focus more clearly, but just tapping, sometimes without words, can have a very empowering effect. So it is something to notice and something to act upon.
Yeah, I like it.
That is why most people do it.
Yeah, well, I think Chris, maybe this might be a time either for a little break, or yeah, maybe we could move into a second episode.
Indeed, we are very thankful for the opportunity and return Joseph to you.
All right, thanks, Chris.